Okay, let's talk about Chelsea again. So, guys, is there a method to Chelsea's madness? Because let's be real here, this is lots of madness going on when it comes to Chelsea. The number of players that have been signing and at the price in which they're signing these players is a bit too much. Even if you're a Chelsea fan, I'm sure that is something that you actually thought about. Now, I've been seeing comments from Chelsea fans that there's a method to this, that Todd Boely and the new board actually have a plan that they're trying to execute. And that made me to think about it a bit. Maybe they actually have a method to this madness. So, I'm sure a lot of Chelsea fans would be basking in their glory when they saw Modric, the new signing, play well in his 30 minutes cameo. It was actually very, very excellent. And that looks like there's a great player there. But I would also say he's just coming. Teams don't know him. Teams don't have any scouting reports on him. So you can't really judge. You can't really start to give him the Ballon d'Or trophy after quarter of a game. So Chelsea fans should chill a little bit when it comes to him. But he was excellent, so there's hope there. Going back to when Todd Boely took over Chelsea, I have to cut Chelsea some slack here because those 2022 summer transfer window was one of the weirdest transfer windows I've ever seen in my life. I mean it. It just, a lot of signings didn't make any sense to me. But it's understandable. An American owner that doesn't know shit about the game coming in and making signings, and you have Thomas Tuchel, who was reportedly moody during that period. He didn't really want to do that job of also making the decisions of signing the players. So I get why the whole 2022 summer transfer window looked a bit off to me. And obviously, other teams and other players that were trying to get to Chelsea, they saw an opportunity there to scam Chelsea, if I'm being honest. So, and they took it. I mean, there's no reason why anybody should be paying 63 million for a guy that is a backup quality player, in my own opinion, in Cucurella. You have a Koulibaly who was getting older. You paid him and gave him a long contract. All that was weird to me. I cut Chelsea some slack when it comes to that summer transfer window. Maybe they didn't really know what they were doing. And I already seen Chelsea fans saying, oh, sell this Cucurella guy, sell this Koulibaly guy after 6 months, which is crazy. Now, come to this January transfer window. I actually think there is some method to this madness. I actually think so. Looking at it with a more objective eyes now, like, I actually think there's some method to it. But there's still a madness to it. You are overpaying. There is no reason why you should be signing Modric for 100 million. Yes, it may turn out great. People sign players for 15 million and they turn into world-class players. So Modric may turn out to be world-class or may not turn out to be world-class. But you overpaid. That's a fact. You overpaid. So even if he performed well during this weekend and Chelsea fans are all up in the arms like, oh, you see. No, we don't see anything. You overpaid. And that is fine. You can accept it that you overpaid. Even if the player turns out great, but you overpaid. But it looks like a good player. I can admit that. It looks like a very good player. And from like I said, the method is very clear now that Chelsea are going after the young players that they can, nurture. Even if some of them may not be that young, like Modric is almost 22 years old. So it's not like he's an 18-year-old player or something. But there's a plan here. It looks like there's a plan. But you have to stop overpaying, because if you keep doing this, anytime you come on to the table for any player, each club is just going to put the price up because they just know that Chelsea are going to pay for it. So I think there has to be a limit to which you are paying the prices. This Madueke guy looks like a black, slower Iron Robin. It looks like a good player, to be honest. Like, it was his signing that actually made me to start thinking that there's a method to this madness, because though I knew about him, I just didn't think any big club could sign him. Like, I just didn't think he made enough waves for any big club to come for him. But the fact that Chelsea went for him shows that there is some kind of scouting going on now, which is a good sign. It's a good sign. But you feel overpaid. I feel you feel overpaid. This is a player that you could have gotten for 20 million, in my opinion. Now, I'm not in the negotiation room, so I don't know what is going on. But I think if a Liverpool went for that guy, they would have gotten him for 20 million. That's just my opinion. So you're overpaying for players, even if it looks like there's there's a method to this now. I'm actually seeing the method to this, but you're still overpaying. And let's say they even and the player that are being linked to now, the Brighton midfielder Saicedo, who I think is a very good player. I actually think he could be a long-term replacement to Kante. Now, obviously, I don't think anybody can be as unique as Kante. I don't think so. But in world football right now, he's like the closest guy I could think of that could replicate what Kante did for Chelsea during his tenure at the club. So I think Chelsea should sign him. I think you should go for him. But now if you go and pay 100 million for him now, I will see come on here and sit down here and say that you overpaid. This is a player that you should sign between 50 to 60 million max. That is just my opinion. But if you go and pay over that, I will see come and sit down here and say that you overpaid. At first I was thinking, why all the rush? Can't you just wait for the summer? Because clubs used to take advantage. If you come for a player during the January transfer window, clubs trying to take advantage of you. So I was thinking, why can't Chelsea just wait to the summer? And I also thought that, it's pretty clear that Chelsea are not making the top 4 this season. So at that point, they could be at a disadvantage during the summer. So they have to try and sign all the targets that they think that they need during the January transfer window as quick as possible. So that makes sense that they're trying to go for these guys. Despite the fact that the January transfer window is like the worst time to sign a player. But the fact that Chelsea are doing this, it shows a plan as well, because it's clear that they're not making the top 4. It's pretty clear. Like, I know there's some hope, but I just don't see it. If they do, I can come back here and apologize for my wrong opinion. But I don't think I'll be wrong. Now to the long contracts that Chelsea are handing out. A lot of Chelsea fans online have been using this new word that I've learned recently, amortization. Look, I get it. I understand it. I understand that they are spreading the prices over different years to meet financial fair play rules. I don't think Chelsea are breaking any FFP rule right now. I think they are meeting it because if they didn't, I don't think Boely is that stupid. So I have to believe that they're meeting the guidelines. But there's a catch to this. Let's say these players flop. Let's not even say flop. Let's say they're not world class, for example. Let's say they're not world class. They may not flop. I don't think Modric will flop. I actually think Madueke is a very good player. I don't think he would flop for the price that you signed him for. These players, they may not flop. But take, for example, the summer that Chelsea signed Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, and the rest of those players that summer. Chelsea fans were like, oh, we are back. Kai Havertz, generational talent. Timo Werner, one of the best strikers in Bundesliga. Oh. Imagine if you gave those guys 8-year contracts. Just picture it. Do you think that you would have been able to get rid of Werner at his salary if he was on an 8-year contract? No, you wouldn't have been able to do that. Kai Havertz now, you see, I think they see a good player there. I think if he goes to Germany, he's going to blossom. But I don't think he will ever be able to blossom in Chelsea. If you want to get rid of him now, it may not be that hard. You see a young player with some potential, and the contract, I think he has like 2 years or 3 years remaining now. So not that bad. But let's say he had 5 years remaining on his big contract. What would you do? So there's a danger there. If these players, even if and like I said, they may not have to flop. They may just be not good or not great, and you're stuck with them. Chelsea had to pay Drinkwater to stay at home. They literally had to pay Drinkwater to stay at home until his contract expired. You see how Bakayoko, who you have not been able to get rid of, see in AC Milan playing on loan. You have Lukaku, who I don't think, who at least I hope, if Inter are sensible, will not sign him permanently. Who's probably coming back with 3 years remaining on his contract. Now, compounding with the summer signings that you've made, Koulibaly, who looks like a flop already and is old and is on a 5-year contract on a big salary, how are you going to get rid of him? I keep hearing Chelsea fans saying, oh, we are signing all these players, don't worry, you guys are stupid. By the summer, it's very, very clear that we're going to offload players. Who is going to sign these players? Who? No, who is signing Koulibaly, an old cargo that will have like 4 years remaining on his contract? Who is going to sign him? Or like over £200,000 a week? Who will sign him? You see, have Kepa, the guy that you guys signed for a 7-year contract to meet financial fair play rules. You can't see get rid of him. Like now, to be fair to Kepa, he hasn't been that. He has been terrible for like 2-3 years. The remaining of the years, he has not been great, but he has not been terrible. He has been okay. But he's not a world-class goalkeeper. But you can't get rid of him because he's on a 7-year contract. And you're going to be stuck with him until those 7 years expire. So why do you think these decisions now that are making is some genius decision? There's no genius decision here. You better hope that these players are world-class. If they are just good, you're going to have players on contract that you cannot get rid of, who will just make it to be a middling team, a team that's not going to be world class, a team that is just going to be there, good with some good players, but not a world-beating team. Which I think Chelsea fans would like to be a world-beating team. So if you have some players that are just good or good to great, you are not going to be great enough to win the Premier Leagues or the Champions Leagues. So you better hope that these players actually become great. You better hope that Modric becomes world class. You better hope that Madueke becomes at least great to world class, even if he's not world class, great to world class. You better hope that. Now I'm going to be honest here. I don't really know the details of their contract, so I don't really know how much they are earning. Maybe if they are earning less than 100k, then you've got me. You could say that, oh, that is some genius move by Todd Boely. So if they're earning that, like I can admit that, I do not know that. So if you're a Chelsea fan watching this video and you know their salaries for a fact, put it down in the comments for me to confirm that. Maybe if they're earning less than 100,000, especially a player like Modric, if you could get him to sign a contract of less than 100k a week, then I would say that, okay, there's some genius play here. But if it's over 100,000, you're going to be stuck with this player. That's just my opinion. Madueke now, if you are giving him more than 50,000, then you're going to be stuck with him if he does not become what you think he will become. So now to the last point. Another excuse that Chelsea fans have been giving, that I've been seeing, is that Boely and co have an obligation to spend 1.5 billion in the next 10 years. So if that is the case, that does not mean that you have to finish the money in 1 year or 2 years. It's supposed to be a long-term investment, right? So it was an obligation that you must spend this amount in 10 years, which I think Abramovich, out of the love for Chelsea, had to put that in, because you don't know the owner could come in and doesn't want to spend any money, just wants to be there and any whatever profit that Chelsea gets, which was a very, very good, smart and generous move by Roman Abramovich. But does Boely have to waste everything in the first 2 years? I think it's a bit hasty. That's just how I'm looking at it. And you also have your stadium. I think stadium was also part of that agreement, right? The stadium was also part of that agreement. You have a stadium that is too small for a club of Chelsea status, or a club of the kind of status that Chelsea want to get to. Even if they may not be there, in my opinion, but you want to get there. You need to improve your stadium one way or the other. I know it's hard. I've read about it. I know Stamford Bridge is in the busiest neighborhood in London, so it's very, very hard to actually expand. I get that. And also moving from that place to another place, like Arsenal did from Highbury to Emirates. I heard that due to politics from some of the people that own the ground, that I cannot do it. So I get all that, but you have to find a way. You have to find a way to become a bigger club. I cannot be a bigger club with a sub 50,000 seater stadium. So that's what you should be thinking of, using this 1.5 billion that Abramovich first obligated Boely and co to spend. This is where Chelsea fans should hold them accountable. Try and make our club improve our stadium status. That's how I see it. Not signing players and overpaying. That's just how I see it. And I think it's something that could backfire on Chelsea. It's a risk that could actually pay off. If it pays off, hopefully I'm alive by then. I can come here and sit down here, apologize to every Chelsea fan in the world, apologize to Boely, apologize to everybody. But this looks a bit hasty. It looks a bit all over the place, in my opinion. Not the signings themselves. The January transfer window looks like there's some plan there, but you're still overpaying. You should be able to negotiate, not keep overpaying. Because if you keep overpaying, teams are going to take advantage of you. In conclusion, this video was about, is there a method to Chelsea's madness? If I were to put a scale, madness to method, I think Chelsea it's 65-35 for madness. That's my opinion. I think it's 65-35 for madness. I think it's more in the madness aspect of it than the method part of it. I am saying the method, but if you keep overpaying like this, you still look mad to me. That's just my opinion.